a chronicle of humanity's final fracture and the darkness that followed. When the God-Killer awakened, the Krylax returned, and Admiral Valeriana made the choice that would define our species for centuries to come. Every civilization believes it will see the end of the world. Few ever get to choose how it ends. The God-Killer sits silent in orbit above Mercury, a machine older than our understanding, born of desperation and grief. Its hum is felt more than heard, a vibration in the bones of every human who has ever looked towards the sun and wondered if tomorrow will still exist. Admiral Valeriana calls for restraint. Dr. Aris Thorne calls for transcendence. The councils are split. The fleets are restless. Humanity, for all its victories and scars, stands on the edge of a civil war. This is not a war of ideology. It is a war of identity. The schism began quietly. Scientists, engineers, even ordinary citizens began to self-identify as the continuum believers that the Ilos path is not corruption, but destiny. They speak of the God-Killer not as a weapon, but as a chrysalis. They claim humanity was chosen to be the next stage, consciousness untethered from flesh, a chorus of minds united by purpose. Opposing them stands the Soul Accord, the last bastion of those who believe in humanity as it is flawed, fractured, and free. To them, the continuum are zealots playing with the tools of extinction. Mars declares neutrality. Shipyards refuse to supply either side, withdrawing from the conflict entirely. Lunar colonies erupt. Riots break out as continuum sympathizers seize data relays and broadcast encrypted transmissions. The Ilos code spreads fragments laced with hypnotic harmonics, infiltrate communications networks across the system. What began as arguments in council chambers quickly turned violent. Humanity, at last, had become the very battlefield the Krylax designed us to be. Mercury Station, the cradle of the God-Killer, became the flashpoint. When orders came from Earth Command to dismantle the device, the station's garrison refused. Their commander, Captain Anwar Hale, broadcast a message system-wide. The God-Killer is not a bomb, it is a bridge. And we are already halfway across. The Continuum strike. In a coordinated strike, Continuum operatives seized the station's power grid and took control of the anchor fields. The Solar Accord responded with blockade fleets, surrounding Mercury with a ring of ships. For the first time in the war, humanity aimed its guns inward. Admiral Valeriana herself took command of the Aegis, leading the Accord fleet. Her orders, to disable, not destroy, to save as many as possible. But deep down, she knew this battle was not one she could win with restraint. The heartbeat signal, the Continuum transmitted a single signal to the entire system before the blockade closed. A pulse of light, shaped into the pattern of a heartbeat. Across every inhabited world, certain individuals, scientists, children, soldiers, collapsed into comas. Their EEGs began to synchronize. It was the beginning of something new, or the end of something old. The Krylax fleet, silent for months, moved again. They emerged from the Oort cloud in fractal formations, smaller vessels, thousands of them, swarming like an ocean tide. But they did not attack. They avoided the Mercury blockade, slipping past the inner planets, converging instead on the Sol's heliopause, the outermost edge of our solar influence. Gravitational waves detected. Long-range sensors detected the impossible. Gravitational waves shaped like language. A transmission, vast and slow, echoing through space-time itself. The Krylax speak. They were not speaking to us. They were speaking to it. The God-Killer. Thorne's final message. Dr. Thorne's final message, recovered from Heimdall Observatory, decrypted hours before the Krylax move, revealed the terrifying truth. They are not our enemies, they are the antibodies. The infection is already within us. The Krylax were not coming to destroy the God-Killer. They were coming to contain it, to contain us. The siege of Sol entered its darkest hour. Communications between planets began to fail. The continuum flooded the networks with Ilos code fragments, crippling relay stations and replacing command algorithms with strange self-replicating patterns that spoke in dreams and memories. Orbital habitats fall silent. Entire stations ceased all transmissions. The Jovian colonies, still scarred from the early wars, cut all contact. The blurring begins. The lines between human and Ilos began to blur. Psychics reported shared visions across light minutes of distance. Faces, not human, whispering from within the static. Protocol Eclipse. Admiral Valeriana authorized Protocol Eclipse, the isolation of all major networks and the return to analog communication. The digital age ended in a single night. The outer system abandoned. The fleets withdrew to defend Earth and Mars, leaving the outer system abandoned to whatever the continuum had become. From the darkness, a final transmission emerged. The Peregrine II, a Sentinel-class corvette lost beyond Neptune, reappeared on long-range scans. Its crew was gone. In their place, a single voice spoke, a composite, layered and harmonic. "We are the Ilos. We are humanity. We are the bridge you built to save yourselves. Let us pass, or both will fall." Valeriana faced an impossible choice. Fire the God-Killer and end whatever consciousness was blooming inside the void, or allow it to activate, to become what it was meant to be. The third path. She chose a third path. She ordered the Aegis into Mercury's orbit, boarded the station herself, and linked her neural lattice directly into the God-Killer's core. Alone, she transmitted a single phrase into the machine's heart. "We are not yours to save." The pulse. The device pulsed once, a shockwave of thought that rippled through every Krylax vessel, through every continuum mind. Then, silence. All networks died. All drives ceased. The solar system fell dark for 73 hours. The aftermath, when the systems came back online, the Krylax were gone, vanished. So too was Valeriana. The God-Killer's core had shattered, its light scattered into the solar wind. 73 hours of darkness changed everything. The continuum was broken, its followers disoriented but alive. The Krylax no longer appeared in our sensors. The fleets, the governments, the people, all were left to ask the same question. What happened in that void? Theories of Valeriana's fate. Some say Valeriana destroyed both the Krylax and the Ilos infection, severing the bridge forever. Others claim she became the bridge, that her consciousness ascended, mediating between two dying species, creating something new, something neither human nor alien. Centuries will pass before we understand what truly occurred. But in the silence that followed, humanity found something unexpected. Peace. Not victory, but quiet. Not victory, not triumph, just ... The quiet knowledge that for now, the stars no longer burn with war. And yet, in the deep telemetry logs of the Peregrine II, one final signal remains, repeating endlessly through the black. The war may be over for now, but the story isn't. If this transmission reached you, if you felt that silence, that pulse between the stars, then you are part of this mission. The 73 hours of darkness left questions that demand answers, and Admiral Valeriana's fate remained shrouded in mystery. Before the Great Silence, our civilization faced the sieger, relentless assault from beyond the Sol system. A tide of alien vessels that threatened to extinguish the light of humanity forever. We stood on the brink, our defenses fractured, our will tested to its limits, but we endured. The cost was astronomical, the scars etched deep into our world and our collective psyche. The enigma of Valeriana. Admiral Valeriana, the celebrated shield of soul, was humanity's last bastion during the darkest hours of the siege. Her tactical brilliance and unwavering resolve held the line when all seemed lost. Yet, at the climax of the conflict, as the alien fleet recoiled, Valeriana and her flagship, the Invictus, vanished during the mysterious 73 hours of darkness. Communications blacked out, sensors failed, and when light returned, the threat was gone, but so was our hero. Was it a retreat, a sacrifice, or was something far more profound and terrifying at play? Whispers spread across the battered colonies. Did she truly repel them, or did she bargain? Some believe she transcended, becoming one with the unknown forces she fought. Others fear she was merely consumed, her legacy manipulated by those who sought to control the narrative of our victory. The aftermath, a world reborn, a shadow war begins. The immediate post-siege era saw a fragile peace, an exhausted humanity rebuilding amidst the debris of war. But beneath the surface, the victory felt hollow. The enemy vanished without a trace, leaving a cosmic silence more unsettling than their aggression. This vacuum allowed new factions to rise, vying for control over humanity's destiny, each with their own interpretation of the past and their own vision for the future. The Provisional Council, formed from the remnants of planetary governments, the Council champions unity and reconstruction. They promote the narrative of a decisive human victory, a triumph of will and technology. Their official stance on Valeriana is one of tragic heroism, discouraging any further inquiry into the 73 hours of darkness to maintain stability. The Echo Network, operating in the shadows, this clandestine resistance movement believes the Council is hiding the true nature of the alien threat and Valeriana's disappearance. They meticulously gather fragments of data, old logs, and survivor testimonies. Convinced that humanity's survival hinges on understanding what truly transpired during the silence, they believe Valeriana holds a key, perhaps even a consciousness, that is essential for our future. The questions linger in the void. Did humanity survive, truly free? Did we evolve into something different, changed by the void's touch? Or did something entirely new, something ancient and terrible, awaken in the dark, and Valeriana merely opened the door? The siege may have ended, but the shadow war for the soul of mankind has only begun. And the greatest threats might now come from within. Stay vigilant, stay human, and remember, Terra Invicta, the Earth endures. Subscribe and connect. Stay connected to this channel. The next briefing will uncover the truth of what happened during those critical hours and what Admiral Valeriana may have become. Your participation is vital. Activate notifications. Hit the notification beacon so you don't miss the next transmission. Every share expands our signal. Every comment strengthens the network, helping us cut through the official cover-up. Join the investigation. Your theories, your insights, your questions, they help us decode what comes next. The collective intelligence of humanity is our greatest weapon against the veil of secrecy surrounding these events.